In this video, sponsored by the makers of Rise of Kingdoms, we're going to go check out the latest update. Note, Magpie's Song. And there's a bunch of stuff in here that I think is designed to keep us engaged between KVKs, and we'll get a closer look at that. So this update is going live on 7/30. And there's a new event series, as is always the case, and we get Esmeralda's Prayer, Esmeralda's Collection, War of the Ruins, and the Deadly Dash. Am I not familiar with this? I can't remember this. It's a race against the clock. Defeat as many barbarians as possible. Okay, they just renamed it to Deadly Dash. I do know what that is. I can't remember now what the name of that used to be. Race Against Time, I think is what it used to be called. Anyways, events. We've seen these events before. You can do a YouTube search with the name of the event and my name, and I've covered every single one of these. But this is where things get spicy. The Champions of Olympia has been optimized. After the new season starts, balanced mode will be enabled. Every participant's technologies, commander levels, star levels, and talents will be automatically balanced. In addition, every commander will be automatically assigned units, equipment, armaments based on their unit specialties. So this now becomes more about skill than it is about collection, which I think is certainly an interesting change. I mean, I think there are a lot of people who will really enjoy this. You can queue for team ranked matches by yourself or as a part of a team, 2, 3, or 5 combatants. There's an activity point adjustment. You can earn activity points by fighting in any mode. You'll earn double points in team ranked. All right. Season settlement adjustments. At the end of the season, if you took part in team ranked, you receive a reward based on the highest league you reached. You reach the champion above league, your reward will be based on your ranking at the end of the season. There's a new repute system. If you commit violations during a match, I assume that's things like just standing around not doing anything. You will lose repute. You may face certain penalties if your repute score is too low. There are new custom lobbies. You can now spend gems, all right, to create a custom Champions of Olympia lobby. With a custom lobby, you can invite governors from any kingdom to join and select whichever map you want and start the match at your leisure. This would have been really, really wicked when the Champions of Olympia first launched and I was doing tournaments for it. I did a tournament. I believe there was a cash prize. I can't remember. And at the end of the day, the viewership was not high enough to justify continuing to do that. But it is cool that you can do custom lobbies. Now you can do custom tournaments, I think. And maybe we'll start to see that. The creative or custom lobby can decide whether or not to enable balanced mode. In custom lobbies, you can assign yourself to one of the spectator seats to spectate the match, which is also pretty cool. So like if I was holding a tournament, I could make myself the spectator and I could, host a tournament and invite people into the matches. Would you spectate a Champions of Olympia tournament? I think a lot of people will say they would, but when I actually did it, viewership was pretty mid. From here, new custom matches. You can now spend gems to create a custom Ark of Osiris match. You can invite governors from any kingdom to join. So this is really interesting because now you could practice Ark of Osiris with anybody, anywhere, anytime. The admins of a custom match can decide whether or not to enable balance mode. If it is enabled, all combatants will be able to select from a pool of equally powerful commanders provided by the system. They'll be able to assign their commander's talents before the match begins. Isn't that interesting? So you can basically hold a custom Ark of Osiris tournament. Now that's something where maybe I could do a prize, but it takes so many people that, I don't know, it would take a lot of doing to organize this. Organizing a tournament where the teams are 5 is a lot easier. Improved visuals. In Ark of Osiris and other related events, your city's currently equipped city theme will now be shown in the Ark of Osiris battlefield. Role assignment optimization. You can now assign battlefield roles to combatants in both practice matches and custom matches. Very interesting with the addition of custom matches. I'm very curious for your thoughts down below in the comments. Now, in a prior video, I talked about how the developers were looking at making it so that more people could get autarch testimonies, which I think is good. There's too much emphasis today on winning rather than playing. And so kingdoms really bend over backwards to make sure they get wins. That is very critical to do that because otherwise your account falls behind. I would know all about that. Added a new autarch points leaderboard that will rank governors by kill points, deaths, and heal points if you are not selected as an autarch but rank top 10 in any of these leaderboards. You will automatically receive 1 autarch testimony. I feel like it'd be cool if let's say rank 1 through 5 did get an autarch testimony some other way, that then on this leaderboard, since those other guys got one another way, that like then 5 through 10, or sorry, 5 through 15 would get it. You know what I mean? Like it'd be cool if the total number of autarchs getting distributed goes up. Today, the only way that would happen is if your kingdom leadership sees you're on that top 10 list, which they should do, and then be like, you'll get an autarch from there. We'll give your other autarch away that you would have gotten. I think that's how that's going to go. Anyways, autarch testimony fragments. If you do not receive an autarch testimony, you can earn one autarch testimony fragment by completing the new Autarchy Crusader achievement. 3 fragments can be combined into a testimony. This would be, if this was backdated, I'd be chilling. Because it's not, I am not chilling. These changes will take effect in Lost Kingdoms that begin after, let's see, the 7th of August. So, unfortunately, this is not going to take place, probably, for the KVK that my restart account, I assume, is going to queue up for. I guess we'll find out. Adjusted the number of autarch testimonies you can assign to other camps. Details are as follows. So there's a lot of details here. I'm not going to read it all out, but it basically is less autarch testimonies for the primary group and more autarch testimonies for the secondary group, which just makes sense. They've also gone in and optimized the Season of Conquest Lost Canyon event. A pioneer experience for these adjustments will be opened in certain Lost Kingdoms. You can now deploy 6 troops in Lost Canyon. You know, I feel like this is a natural direction for the developers to go if they wanted to shove more people in the direction of having 6 armies, right? Like, if they go this route, that means you need 6 troops, like 6 marches worth of equipment and everything in order to play Canyon well. This is a bad thing for my restart account where I have only 5 marches. I suppose it's a perhaps proper nudge for that account to move in the direction of 6 marches. But, you know, I think to me, this is a pretty clear signaling of the devs giving incentive to have more equipment, more armament sets. I think more people will move in that direction of 6 troops, 6 marches. But this is just in a test roll. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments if you like it or not. Also, they're switching everything up to be filled with T5 instead of T3. And the base unit capacity will be increased to 150,000. This actually is good for low spenders because it is diminishing slightly the relevance of extra troop capacity. I mean, extra troop capacity is still good, but the sort of tiers of equipment that are giving you extra troops are not going to be as impactful. I mean, the ones that give you percent based are still going to do the same, but the ones that give you just a set number are not going to do as much. Anyways, onwards. Added a new indicator to show each troop intended target. That's fine. I think it's good for new players. New domain sign-up tool. When assigning Lost Kingdom domain slots, your king can now opt instead to start a sign-up period, allowing governors in your kingdom to manually sign up for their preferred domain. After the sign-up period ends, the king can choose. I think that's great. Anything that makes the burden on leadership diminished is critical. Leaders are what make communities run in this game. Community is what makes this game tick. Without community, this game is in a scary place. It's all built around communities. It's not like community would disappear. But the point I'm trying to make is anything that makes the life of the leaders easier is a huge W. So I would call this a huge W. Crystal Quest adjustments. Removed the daily challenges and adjusted the experience you earn from weekly challenges. The total Crystal Quest experience you can earn each week remains unchanged. That's kind of curious. That's kind of a big KVK change, isn't it? So the Crystal Quest is the way that you get, I think, the most free-to-play accessible or low-spender accessible crystals. And what's weird about that is, I mean, I guess it's good. The daily challenges are kind of annoying. You might miss one, for example. So you have to be really attentive to it. Whereas on a weekly basis, maybe you're less likely to miss them. I don't know. I'm not sure what the genesis, like why make that change if the experience is the same. I suppose to make it so that on any one day, if you forget, it's not as big a deal. Other improvements. A number of brand new skills have been added. The tank, DPS, and support roles in Soroli Crisis. Okay, I mean, I would not have looked at that event and said, you know what this needs is new skills. But once I play it, maybe I'll feel differently. Be very interesting to see what those are. New chat features, commander and armament sharing. You can now share info about your commanders and armaments. This is huge. Absolutely no questions asked. I should be able to share Guan Yu, and it shares with my alliance or global chat or wherever a little paper doll. I mean, paper doll, I'm old, right? Back when 3D models were not a thing. But you'd show your character for Guan Yu, it'd show the equipment you have, it'd show the armaments you have, like that. Like, yeah, you ought to be able to share your commander like that. You should be able to toggle if you share your talents or not. That way I could just, boom, share within game my commander, and people in my alliance could like give me feedback or we could talk about it, right? Pinned messages. In alliance, coalition, team immigration, and custom group chats, group chat admins can now pin messages. I feel like pinning messages in chats is fine, but in Call of Dragons, we have a little section. It would be right over here, I guess, in the alliance section, maybe in the mail section, but this whole top area is designated for pinned messages from your alliance leaders. If we had something like that in Rise of Kingdoms, if done well, would be really cool, IMO. There's a new camp chat channel added to certain Season of Conquest stories after the update. Good. Alliance marker optimization. If an alliance marker has been shared to a chat channel, you can now tap on its card in the chat to jump to the location. Very logical. Optimize Shattering Strike on the iconic 5 skill of legendary quality helms. It now also affects smite damage. Hey, so this just makes sense, right? So on infantry equipment, the highest tier gives you skill damage, but skill damage is not a thing in this game anymore for infantry. It's all about smite damage. So you can see here, Shattering Strike. Whenever the wheelless troop launches a basic attack, you have a 10% chance to increase the next skill damage dealt. Well, bro, like my infantry, the ones that matter, are mostly just doing smite damage these days. So good that this is going to influence smite and skill damage moving forward after the update. And now there is reason to take your infantry gear to the highest tier. I think I, for a number of reasons, have avoided doing that. This is sort of by power. Yes, my gear's over here. I've avoided doing that on the helmet, Shattering Strike over here, because, I mean, it's just not relevant to anything I do. But now there's very good incentive. And by the way, this is the unit capacity I was talking about over here for Canyon, that like, if there are more total troops, then the value of this diminishes. Whereas over here, percentage-based unit capacity, that's kind of unchanged in its relevance. But, anyways, let's go back to the patch note here. We round this thing out. What else we got? Strengthened account security. In stage 2 of the Past Glory event, you can claim the reward chests in bulk. Oh, that's nice. Optimize the effect of the Alliance technology Nature's Gift. Can now be used in Lost Kingdom. If used in Lost Kingdom, instead of spawning resource points, it will increase the gathering speed of all Alliance members. That's cool. And that works whether you're in Original Kingdom or Lost Kingdom. So there's a history of Nature's Gift that you need to know. And if you don't know it, let me just share with you that Nature's Gift is an Alliance skill. It deploys lots of resource nodes. And the way that Kingsland used to work in KVK Season 3, which is what we were doing, is that you had an itty-bitty Kingsland. It's the teeniest Kingsland. It's like 3 flags, maybe just 2 flags, and you're touching enemy flags. It is so teeny, tiny, okay? And what you would do is you would deploy Nature's Gift in Kingsland on the enemy's side of the map right before the pass was going to open, that they had nowhere to teleport to. And a bunch of things have changed. I think now Nature's Gift has to probably be on your own territory, and they moved it so you couldn't do that in KVK because it was really toxic to deploy all these resource nodes. So anyways, all that to say, that's why you can't use Nature's Gift in KVK, but this change is kind of interesting. It makes it so that now you get a gathering speed boost, and that's actually a relevant skill, especially relevant for clearing up the resource nodes to get teleport spots in your Kingsland fighting, even in a regular-sized Kingsland, not the itty-bitty, teeny tiny KVK3 Kingsland. So kind of a cool change there. And added new narrative content to various parts of the game. Generally speaking, I don't really care about narrative content. All I care is that there's a skip button so that I can go past it. And that's just me personally. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. All in all, what do you think about this update? You know what's not here that really surprises me? What's not here is a new civilization. I generally feel like new civilizations are totally goated. So I wonder what's going on that they're chilling on the new civ. I'm not opposed to fixing all these other things as opposed to adding a new civilization, right? Like a new civilization is fun content. So hopefully they're cooking on a new civ and they're figuring out if we add a new civilization, how do we make it as successful as the release of the Vikings was, where Vikings just absolutely freaking crushed and brought so many people to the game? How do we do that? I hope they were able to do that because, you know, I love when my YouTube channel is growing. If you enjoyed the video, throw a like on here and consider subscribing. If you want to see the last piece of information we got about a new civilization, I'll see if I can dig that video up and put the card over here. If I can't find that one, then I'll put another card over here. It's a video I think you might like.